All right, we're live here. I'm gonna end this one now. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. I'm gonna drop the link to this other stream right now for you guys. But yes, this was just recently. This just happened. They're yelling FBI, open the door. I don't know if this is his house. I don't know what's going on right now, but I am going to work on getting new details. FBI, open the door. I don't know if I just want to drop this link in chat so you guys can join. I do have another live up right here from the other live. This is the link right here. There's the link right there to the new live. Make sure you join. Thank you guys. I'm ending the Brian Koberger Court live stream right now. So that stream is ending now. Let's go ahead and get us where we at? Where's our one that we had last night? Okay, here we go. Let's see what's going on here. I do have scanners pulled up live right now. Scanner pulled up live right now.
Yeah, they just informational from Scarborough. They had an officer try to stop a black motorcycle operator wearing all black, high rate of speed.
Correct. 15 Main Drive, and is reporting there's a little.
What's going on, Rebel? Welcome.
Holding a white pea apron, talking to himself. In black shirt, black shorts, blue shirt.
Copy. You can show me route.
102 Augusta.
82 at 8.
82 8.
One of.
Can you see if 2614 can back him up on that?
Augusta 2614.
You're welcome, Carol.
Copy. I'll be en route.
10-4.
4134 Augusta back in the truck.
Copy 4134.
Augusta 413.
413 Augusta, go ahead.
Yeah, they just informational from Scarborough. They had an officer try to stop a black motorcycle operator wearing all black, high rate of speed. Last seen on 701 heading to 295.
10-4, just make sure 440 has that traffic.
440.
Go ahead.
Copy that information. 440 Augusta, go ahead. Yeah, just from Scarborough, black motorcycle operator in all black, high rate of speed.
2122 Augusta, I'll be clear, Lewiston.
Copy 2122.
A dark day indeed, as the governor said, and as Rob, you and Samantha just said, there's going to be more. So many details of this waiting to be outlined. So many questions currently unanswered about why and how and all of those things. But there's no question that the impact of these killings is casting a shadow over most, if not all, of the state of Maine. I talked to a salesman from a Portland business this morning who said I
don't know who just came in or not, but I just seen this. I was able to see this. If you're just coming in, I did see this as an update. Maybe some of you did too. But this right here. Again, this is a situation. Let me go ahead and repost this out. It said just now, loud bangs and a loudspeaker saying FBI opened the door were heard in a rural area near where the main shootings took place. Shows the significant police activity. So whoever this is showed the police activity. News Nation national correspondent. Oh, I know who that is. I just didn't know that name right there off the follow handle.
C100 is back in the truck.
Copy 4100 back in the truck.
So weird. I don't know what this situation is out here. Waiting to get some confirmation on the situation that's going on out here. I don't see nothing, no updates yet. We do have that scanner on right now. I am pulling up flight radar to see because it almost sounds like in this you can hear yeah, I can hear it. I can hear a chopper. I can hear a chopper. And I see a chopper. I see two choppers. This chopper is searching Lisbon Falls. This chopper was just searching Meadowtown or Meadow Road. Again, if you live in the area, this chopper was just searching East Borough Road and Meadow Road, the chopper that I'm looking at. Now, this is in 10-9 US, the chopper that I'm looking at. It's flying away now. I don't know if it was a news chopper. I don't know what kind of chopper it was, but it looks like it's leaving the area as we speak. Could it already be going to gas up? Because it only did a couple circles, so I don't know why, but it seems that this chopper is leaving that area. Welcome back, everybody. Make sure you guys smash that like button as you're coming in. If you just came in and you're looking for updates on this, that's what we are looking for, the same exact thing, the most relevant updates on the manhunt for Robert Card. He is not a person of interest no more. He is now the suspect. This 30 minutes ago just happened. FBI opened the door. Caught by news stations. So you're welcome, Tara. Let's see how long it's been since this. 28 minutes. So not even a full 30 minutes that this took place. I'm sure if anything happens, something's going to come out. Oh, it's 4:20. Hey, T-REV. What's going on, Yogi? What is going on, Yogi? How you doing? All right, let's look for some more updates here. Let's cruise around here. Let me exit that. Let me exit some things for you guys and get these updates coming in. We need that one off.
You guys the 111?
So yeah,
I see the notes.
10-4.
they're talking about they're talking about this over here. So I seen something here. Hold on. I wanted to get that update. It just passed a minute ago.
10-35.
It said that 3 died. What? Where's our victims at? Trev, I pray for you. I appreciate you praying for me.
Sorry, 2 hours, 20 minutes. And just about 15 minutes on there.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Morning, Lewiston Maine. Who's on word?
It really is.
Where it was me, a handful of tables and things, and then there was him at the front counter. So when I saw him looking down at his gun, he was facing away from our group. I turned to everybody at the bowling alley on that side, and I said, "Everybody, get out that exit door right now! Live shooter!" Just yelled as loud as I could to get it, and everybody just started running towards that back exit. And part of me is thankful that I was where I was at the time to help and get my mother and my crew out of there to safety, but at the same
I want to hear that story in full. I want to hear that to its entirety. In fact. All right, here we go.
Augusta tonight.
What does it say? Suspect saw.
Was trained by the U.S. Army in weapons instruction. That report was apparently inaccurate. Here's a statement from the Army. The Army did not train Card as a firearms instructor, nor did he serve in that capacity for the Army. Due to the Privacy Act and the ongoing investigation, we cannot provide further details. However, that spokesman Bryce Doobie also said that while Card's unit supported summer training at West Point in July of 2023, there are no records to indicate he instructed or participated in any of the training. The Army,
I hope they have him too,
did not train Card as a firearms instructor, nor did he serve in that capacity for the Army. So that's an important correction. That
111 Augusta, those 2614 have eyes on.
Card
Hold it, 24/6 have eyes on
Really
him.
weapons, and maybe he did, but what we now know is that he was not an instructor for the Army, did not participate, did not teach that, and was not
Flight
involved
radar,
in that kind of
nothing.
training.
I just pulled in. It looks like he's possibly doing some work there. He's got some paperwork in his hand and his work vehicle up front.
Law enforcement officers to find him is
111.
because it seems that he
10-4,
does.
thank you.
Hold on, we're gonna go back and hear that. 1 second.
111 Augusta, does 2614 have eyes on? 35.
Augusta 2614.
Have
I
eyes
just
on him.
pulled in. It looks like he's possibly doing some work there. He's got some paperwork in his hand and his work vehicle up front.
That's something different.
111.
10-4, thank you.
Yeah, this is our update there.
And a couple of months ago, when he was fitted for high-powered hearing aids, she says that that his mental state turned into a manic belief, and in her words, he was just very set in his belief that everyone was against him all of a sudden.
Rest assured, we are protected by local law enforcement, and Scout Fishman, who's behind the camera, is
Maybe
going
shots
to
fired.
pan down. This is what we are looking at right now.
I'm not sure whose house it is.
All over the region and the
That was just about 35 minutes ago. 35 minutes ago.
Live reports here again. Maine making national headlines, and of course, a very tragic and unfortunate situation. And
We
of
do have
course,
that live
there's
scanner
many
playing,
different
flight
storylines
radar.
that we can talk about from the city of Lewiston as it continues to mourn. You know, the number of folks who were killed, the 7 folks that were killed at the bowling alley behind us, and another population of people that we've been hearing about and talking to.
I just spoke with him. He's a friend of the resident.
Brian was just talking
19,
about the shelter in place.
A friend of the resident. Is that what he just said?
Last night, and you think about, you can't shelter in place if you don't have a place to be. So we caught up with Erin Reed, who is the executive director of the Trinity Jubilee Center in downtown Lewiston, right by Kennedy Park. She said that they knew that they had to open to serve those people.
Another quote from Katie. We just reached out to make sure everyone was on the same page because he is someone who does gun training. We were concerned about his mental state. That's all.
That tells us, sheds new light on what unfolded last night. Maybe tells us a little bit of why, maybe a lot more. I'm sorry, Ron, our producer, I didn't quite hear that. All right. We have some more information for you. We spoke with the owner of Apple Valley Golf Course, which is in Lewiston. His name is Chad Hopkins. Chad Hopkins and a large group of friends bowl at Spare Time Recreation every Wednesday.
This was the guy telling his story. You need to listen.
Describes how he escaped the shooting along with his group, except for his friend,
Yeah.
Trisha Asselin, who we know is one of the victims. Take a listen.
We want to hear. It's taking a minute to get it, I guess.
Bowling league.
Let's hear this. This is what I want to hear.
And we take up lanes 1 through 10, I think.
He was in the place.
But unfortunately for our league specifically, you know, we were near the closest exit of the back of the building.
111.
I was in a really good position where it was me, a handful of tables and things, and then there was him.
I just talked to the complainant and told her the situation. You can close that thing, please.
He was facing away from our group. I turned to everybody at the bowling alley on that side, and I said, "Everybody, get out that exit door right now!" Live shooter, you know, just yelled as loud as I could. Everybody just started running towards that back exit, and you know, part of me is thankful that I was where I was at the time to help and get my mother and my crew out of there to safety. But at the same time, I almost wish that I was up closer to him when he came in, because every time I close my eyes, I visualize myself attacking him. So, I mean, those people without shoes on or one shoe on and no phones, no keys, no nothing. And we all just kind of found our way across the street into this well-lit parking lot area. And we're basically kind of taking head counts at that point, like who's missing, who's here, who's not here.
What's going on?
Pretty stressful times because without everybody having their phones, you can't really account for everybody because, there's 10 people over at Marco's, there's a person in the ditch over there, another couple already, ran off and then they called someone to come pick them up. So, there's people missing. And Trish was definitely somebody I was looking for, and she didn't make her way out.
We've talked, Sam, about how
hearing that story, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you, Leslie.
So heartbreaking is that they happened in a.
If you were just coming in 30 minutes ago, like I said, we got the main news pulled up, right? We got main news pulled up, and then here earlier this was just actually earlier, 40 minutes ago. 40 minutes ago. This was just 40 minutes ago, fresh in live, posted on News Nation. So the FBI opened the door situation going on 40 minutes ago, posted by News Nation on Twitter. Posted on News Nation by Twitter. If you were just coming in, there's an active update. 40 minutes ago, there was some loud bangs and stuff heard, and you can hear them saying clearly, we can hear that through that all the way at where she is, whoever that is, or where he is behind the camera. You can hear them saying FBI open the door, and they're pretty far up there. See?
All right.
Yeah. Why are we FBI opening the door? Right? Listening to the police scanner, but have not heard anything. Me neither. I haven't heard anything yet, but we do have those scanners up that I had on last night. I had both scanners pulled up. I hear he hasn't hostages. He hasn't hostages in there. That's good. He doesn't have any. He's no Danilo Cavalcante. He'll be caught within a day. I was expecting him to be found unalive or dead, killed himself. Right? That's what I was expecting. His brother owns an abandoned home there, and his dad lives nearby. Just Dawn says. But we're keeping a close eye on this. Let's see if there's any update on that. Did they post any update to that? Okay, here we go. Reports live from outside a home believed to be owned by Robert Card's brother as the hunt for the suspect intensifies. Here we go.
Whoa, stop it right there. Turn around. You can't go any further. That's when I knew something was up. I got out of my car and I started just sort of watching them, observing. And that's when all of a sudden I heard on the loudspeaker, FBI, open the door. FBI, open the door. It was happening repeatedly, one after another. I would say that sort of command echoed out for a good 3 to 5 minutes. Then all of a sudden, the loudspeaker stopped. We didn't hear anything anymore. I started to wonder what was actually happening. And then when I was live with Connell McShane just about 10 minutes ago, that's when we started to hear very, very loud explosions happening about a quarter of a mile down this road. We don't know exactly what those explosions were. I don't have any visuals. I can't tell you specifically from what I'm witnessing. I can only really tell you from what I'm hearing and from what I'm seeing around me. For example, we see these police officers that are right here standing, looking out into the distance. The noises that we're hearing are actually about a quarter of a mile that way. And so you can see that they're actually looking out over this plane, most likely securing the perimeter, making sure that they have visual contact about everything that's actually happening within this general area. We see helicopters and aircraft actually swooping overhead. And if I actually just walk a little bit that way, I can see some more vehicles that are actually up that road from the distance where those noises were coming from, those explosions, I should say. They were very, very loud. Again, we don't know where exactly that is or who is exactly back there. I just did speak to a neighbor who told me that he believes that this is the home of the brother of the suspect, Robert Card. He tells me that it's actually been an abandoned home for quite some time. We are awaiting official confirmation of that, but that is what one of the neighbors here just told us on News Nation. So we are going to try to dig into those claims a little bit more. But if so, that would make sense. If it was an abandoned home that belonged to the family, then perhaps that is the place where the suspect, Robert Card, has been hiding out all this time.
You know, Alex, it stood out to me that you said you are a quarter mile away. You know this. I know this. Normally, when you roll up as a reporter to a scene, maybe you can get a block or two away. But in this case, if you're talking about a couple thousand feet, it goes to show that law enforcement is not playing around right now. This man is considered armed and dangerous.
Yeah, and I would tell you all day long it's been that way. You really can't drive around Maine very easily, especially this part right now, because you're coming across so many police barricades where they are just stopping traffic because they're conducting such a widespread manhunt. That's what they've been doing since 7 p.m. last night. And so really police are very fluid in their movements. They're kind of going to certain locations, then leaving, going somewhere else. And so as a reporter, you're just trying to chase the story, chase the scene, find out where this manhunt is going. And that's just what happened right here, right place, right time, finding this location at the exact moment we hear that FBI command calling out. Again, we don't know if anyone is inside that home. We don't know. It could have just been a command to an empty home, but we are trying to find that information out. Hopefully we get some of those answers tonight at 6 p.m. where they tell us that they have more information from a press conference.
Alex Capriello live on the ground in Bowdoin, Maine. Alex, if you hear anything, you see anything, let us know.
So that was just right now, 51 seconds ago, just after this right here. This is what just went down. If you're just coming in and you missed it, breaking news, this just went down by the brother of Robert Card. So again, there's been some action here near Robert Card's brother's house. Breaking news, if you are coming in, there's been some type of, FBI come to the door at Robert Card's brother's house from what we were just hearing. This just
what you're hearing as this manhunt continues.
Now, this just came out, like I literally refreshed the page. It was 51 seconds ago. So they are on the ground there right by Robert Card's brother's house. So again, if you just missed it and you're coming in, here's the update.
Continues.
Yeah, just about, I would say 20 minutes ago, I came down this way through Bowdoin, and that's where I got stopped by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. They told me, whoa, stop it right there, turn around, you can't go any further. That's when I knew something was up. I got out of my car and I started just sort of watching them, observing, and that's when all of a sudden I heard on the loudspeaker, FBI, open the door. FBI, open the door. It was happening repeatedly, one after another. I would say that sort of command echoed out for a good 3 to 5 minutes. Then all of a sudden, the loudspeaker stopped. We didn't hear anything anymore. I started to wonder what was actually happening. And then when I was live with Connell McShane just about 10 minutes ago, that's when we started to hear very, very loud explosions happening about a quarter of a mile down this road. We don't know exactly what those explosions were. I don't have any visuals. I can't tell you specifically from what I'm witnessing. I can only really tell you from what I'm hearing and from what I'm seeing around me. For example, we see these police officers that are right here standing, looking out into the distance. The noises that we're hearing are actually about a quarter of a mile that way. And so you can see that they're actually looking out over this plain, most likely securing the perimeter, making sure that they have visual contact about everything that's actually happening within this general area. We see helicopters and aircraft actually swooping overhead. And if I actually just walk a little bit that way, I can see some more vehicles that are actually up that road from the distance where those noises were coming from, those explosions, I should say. They were very, very loud. Again, we don't know where exactly that is or who is exactly back there. I just did speak to a neighbor who told me that he believes that this is the home of the brother of the suspect, Robert Card. He tells me that it's actually been an abandoned home.
Now, hold up 1 second. Let's go ahead and check on this. It looks like
live picture we're getting from that podium. We're going to hear from the governor, from potentially other individuals like the,
looks like we got a
police.
presser coming.
We heard from several different entities earlier, and this is a very expansive group, state, local, and federal.
Looks like we got a
agencies.
presser
You heard the
coming, ladies
FBI
and
get
gentlemen.
involved. You also heard the Coast Guard was looking into several rivers as well. But those are two live pictures there in Maine, of course, Lewiston, top left portion, but also Bowdoin in the bottom right location. Of course, like I said, spoke with President Biden, the governor did. I do want to put up just this statement from the president from earlier here on Live Now from Fox, as the president said, once again, our nation mourns after another senseless and tragic shooting. Jill and I pray for the Americans in Maine who've lost their lives, those in critical care, and the family survivors.
So it looks like they are setting up on the podium. It looks like they are setting up on the podium. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. If you are coming in, let's pop it back up. Let's see.
They taking the podium? Of local officials, numerous.
I don't want to miss it. They might be taking the podium here in 2 minutes. They might be taking the podium here in 2 minutes, so we'll see. We are going to definitely keep an eye on that.
Directed my administration provide everything that is needed to support the people of Maine. We will continue to be there every step of the way for countless Americans who have survived gun violence and have been traumatized by it. A shooting such as this reopens deep and painful wounds for far too many Americans have now had a family member killed or injured as a result of gun violence. This is not normal, and we cannot accept it. While we have made progress on gun safety through the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the 24 executive actions I've taken, in the establishment of the first ever White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention, it's simply not enough. Today, in the wake of another tragedy, I urge Republican lawmakers in Congress to fulfill their
duty to
protect American people. Work with us to pass a bill banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, to enact universal background checks, to require safe storage of guns.
You too, brother.
To end immunity from liability.
Let me know if you go out there.
Manufacturers. This is the very least we owe every American who will now bear the scars.
4134, gas to zone 2.
This latest attack. Of course, that was from the President, Joe Biden.
Copy 4134,
up to the podium. Let's listen into this live, raw, and unfiltered.
Here we go. Here we go.
I guess 222.
I see the guys are going to attach to.
Let's boost the volume so we can hear. We want to hear this. All right. Y'all are low.
Okay.
Appreciate it, brother.
Andrew. Good evening. I'm Carl Schleen, Mayor of Lewiston. In the wake of the tragic and horrifying incident that occurred in Lewiston, our hearts are heavy with grief, and we extend our deepest sympathies to the victims and their families. This is a time for action, solidarity, and support. Please take note, the shelter-in-place order issued by the Lewiston Police Department remains in effect. Please stay at home and be safe. The City of Lewiston is grateful for the support and outpouring from state authorities, the community, and of course, our elected officials. Speaking tonight will be U.S. Senator Susan Collins, U.S. Representative Jared Golden, and Steve Littleson, President and CEO of Central Maine Medical Center. And now Senator Collins.
Thank you, Mayor. Today is a dark day for the state of Maine. As the mayor said, our hearts are heavy with grief. This heinous attack, which has robbed the lives of at least 18 Mainers and injured so many more, is the worst mass shooting that the state of Maine has ever experienced and could ever imagine. Today, I looked out my window in Washington, and I saw that the flags had been lowered. And I realized that it had been done to honor the victims of this horrific attack. I'm grateful for the leadership of Lewiston Police Chief St. Pierre and for the bravery of the hundreds of state, local, and federal law enforcement officers who are leading the search for the killer. I'm also very grateful for all of the hospital employees who came back to work to take care of the victims, and for our first responders whose bravery was so evident. Last night, the president called me. He stepped out at the state dinner with the Australian Prime Minister to offer any help that the federal government could provide the city of Lewiston, Androscoggin County, and the state of Maine. I also, at midnight, talked to Governor Mills, who has been a pillar of strength for our state. Tom Perez, who is a special advisor to the president throughout the night, texted me back and forth, what do you need? And I would tell him based on conversations that I had as he coordinated the federal response. This morning, Secretary of Homeland Security, Mayorkas, called and offered help from his department. The Attorney General also called, along with Maine's own U.S. Attorney, to offer their help. Right before I came into this building, I had a call from the Deputy Director of the FBI, who told me that there are 80 FBI agents on site participating in the search for the killer. 80. That doesn't include other people from the Marshal's Office, from the ATF, the DEA, and the Department of Homeland Security, and the Coast Guard. This has been a concerted effort at the state, local, and federal level, and everyone is determined to bring the killer to justice. To the families of those who have been injured or killed, I know that no words can fully ease the shock, the pain, and the justifiable anger that you are feeling. My hope is that you will feel the solace and strength in knowing that you are in the hearts of the people of Maine and of people throughout our nation. I'd now like to introduce the Congressman Jared Golden, who represents this area of Maine.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you to Mayor Chalene as well. My name is Congressman Jared Golden from the town of Lewiston, represent Maine's 2nd Congressional District. Some of you might not recognize me because Congress has been so crazy lately. I haven't gotten a haircut in months. So sometimes things happen that bring your worst nightmares to life. Yesterday, this is what happened in Lewiston. At a time like this, a leader is forced to grapple with things that are far greater than his or herself. Humility is called for as accountability is sought by the victims of a tragedy such as this one. Out of fear of this dangerous world that we live in my determination to protect my own daughter and wife in our home and in our community, because of a false confidence that our community was above this and that we could be in full control, among many other misjudgments, I have opposed efforts to ban deadly weapons of war like the assault rifle used to carry out this crime. The time has now come for me to take responsibility for this failure, which is why I now call on the United States Congress to ban assault rifles like the one used by the sick perpetrator of this mass killing in my hometown of Lewiston, Maine. For the good of my community, I will work with any colleague to get this done in the time that I have left in Congress. To the people of Lewiston, my constituents throughout the 2nd District, to the families who lost loved ones, and to those who have been harmed, I ask for forgiveness and support as I seek to put an end to these terrible shootings. In the days to come, I will give everything I have to support this community's recovery. Thank you.
And now I would like to introduce Steve Littleson, President and CEO of Central Maine Medical Center.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Littleson, the CEO of Central Maine Healthcare, which includes Central Maine Medical Center here in Lewiston. On behalf of the 3,000 professionals and team members of Central Maine Healthcare, I too would like to extend our deepest condolences to the families of the victims of the events of last night. I would also like to acknowledge the compassion and the expertise and the teamwork displayed by the healthcare professionals in this community last night when called upon under the most extreme circumstances. Just to give you the numbers as we have them now, I know there's been some confusion, and I would like to take the opportunity to just let you know what we dealt with and what we have currently in our hospital. All but one of the patients that were taken from the scenes last night were brought to Central Maine Medical Center. One was transported directly to St. Mary's Medical Center here in Lewiston. Of those patients, 2 were treated and discharged. 1 of those patients was transferred from Central Maine Medical Center to Maine Medical Center in Portland. 3 patients, unfortunately, passed away in Central Maine Medical Center last night. Of those, 8 remain now, and we have 5 patients who are in stable condition, 3 who are in critical condition in our critical care unit. Just to give you a sense of the scope of what we dealt with within a relatively short period of time, last night, within about 45 minutes to an hour, we had 6 fully staffed and running operating rooms at Central Maine Medical Center caring for the wounded and the victims. The professionals that were operating simultaneously in those 6 operating rooms included orthopedic surgeons, general trauma surgeons, urologists, vascular surgeons, as well as anesthesiologists and support personnel. I would like to also express our appreciation for all of the support that we received and continue to receive even through today. First from the city of Lewiston, secondly from law enforcement. We still have a law enforcement presence on the campus at Central Maine Medical Center. The other area hospitals that came to our support, we needed blood transferred to Central Maine Medical Center very quickly, and 2 of the hospitals, Maine General and St. Mary's, accommodated us. Maine Med in Portland stood by and was ready to accept patients, and as you know, they did accept one of the patients that we transferred to them. And also the various community partners that came to aid and support us last night, including emergency response personnel, personnel from Life Flight of Maine, and others. As one of the counselors said to me before we walked in tonight, often people underestimate our capabilities here to care for people locally. I think last night we proved that by working together, we can do just that under the most trying circumstances. Thank you.
We'll take a few questions.
Senator, you just heard from Representative Mayor Cooler that he has changed his mind on the assault rifle ban. Would you do the same?
Well, first of all, let me say that I think it is more important that we ban very high capacity magazines. I think that would have more input and more effectiveness. We had an assault weapon ban, which I supported, that was in effect for 10 years. It applied to, I believe, 17 or 19 styles of weapons. Later, the late Senator Dianne Feinstein proposed an expansion that would have covered 157 weapons. And it was based not on functionality, but on cosmetic features. So there's always more that we can do. I was a co-author of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which provided funding, for example, for red and yellow flag laws and for mental health clinics, which I think is important as well. So certainly there's always more that can be done.
Senator, just a decade ago, you opposed legislation that limited access to expanded, stocks and firearms capacity. Are you suggesting that you would do something different now?
I don't believe you're correct. For example, I was the lead Republican sponsor of a bill that would ban bump stocks, which have the ability to turn a semi-automatic into a fully automatic machine gun. And that legislation has not been enacted into law. There was an attempt to do it by regulation, but it was struck down by the courts. I still support the bump stock legislation. The other thing that I think we can look at is, and I advocated, was to increase the age at which you could purchase a high capacity rifle from 18 to 21, the way it is for a handgun.
Senator Collins, you mentioned there are a lot of questions about the whereabouts of Robert Card. You mentioned a number of agencies searching for him. Can you offer any more details regarding the whereabouts of Card or how close we're getting to finding him?
I cannot, because I don't want to jeopardize the search for him in any way. I have talked extensively to law enforcement, and as I said just very recently with the FBI deputy director, but I certainly don't want to jeopardize the search in any way.
So we get a federal use in this case. You are a big advocate of them. Do you know if they were used in this case?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Yellow flag laws used in this case?
To my, I don't know. That's a very good question.
You said that Maine got it right when it came to yellow flag.
Maine does have a good yellow flag.
If it's true, as we are hearing, that Robert Card had mental health issues and he was, the police put him forward for evaluation, you got it wrong.
No, I don't know whether there was a report to trigger the yellow flag law. It's certainly on the face of the facts that we have. It seems, could you let me finish, please? It certainly seems that on the basis of the facts that we have, that the yellow flag law should have been triggered if in fact the suspect was hospitalized for 2 weeks for mental illness. That should have triggered the yellow flag law, and he should have been separated from his weapons. I'm sure.
Where is the shooter?
The fact that's going to be looked at very closely. Obviously, that's a state issue, and I do not have knowledge of what happened in that instance.
Senator Collins, Mark Stone from Sky News, thank you for your time. I wonder if I could just ask you about the weapons again. Why do you think it is that you and so many other lawmakers in America believe it is
I feel like this is a damn political speech. Is this about this cocksucker that went and took all these lives or what?
Well, first of all, let me say, and I'll repeat it again, that for 10 years we had a ban on certain kinds of assault weapons, and I supported that ban. And when George W. Bush proposed that it be extended for 10 more years, I supported that effort, which did not succeed. Later, years later, there was an attempt by former Senator Dianne Feinstein to greatly expand the number of weapons that would be covered by that ban. And it was based not on lethality, but more on how they looked, on cosmetic features. And I did not think that that was appropriate. We do have a Second Amendment in our country. And
but we also have a priority, and that's get Robert Card on the damn street.
Maine, I would point out, has one of the highest rates of gun ownership in the country and has a long heritage of responsible gun ownership. It has also had a very low rate of violence. What makes this crime so heinous is in a typical year, Maine might have 22 murders, and last night we almost approached the number for the entire year.
Is anyone here on the Is anyone here briefed on the investigation to tell us?
We cannot talk about the investigation yet, but thank you so much, and I appreciate your patience with us and this news conference. Thank you all. Thank you.
Did she shut that down with no answers? Like, are we?
All right, you're just listening in there as the feed kind of goes out, but the press conference had ramped up. You're
like, what? That was a friggin' political debate. We didn't learn anything about Robert Card, where he is, or
those two on different sides of the aisle. Of course, Collins, a Republican, Golden, a Democrat there in Maine. Of course, we're following that very, very closely. You're on live now for 5.
I don't care about that the Democrat and Republican shit, man. I don't really care about that right now. Like, honestly, I care about this dude. Like, we wanted to know about where this guy could potentially be. Where do these locals that live here need to, they're probably can't even sleep. So then I don't understand that presser. I'm sorry. I just don't get it. I don't get that presser. I'm sorry, guys. I don't understand that. What did we just watch? What the hell did we just watch? Let's actually go back to what we were looking at before. This was an update. I felt like this was more of an update than the presser. This was right now an hour ago, if you were just coming in. Again, this was an hour ago. You had that. And then this was 30 minutes ago, literally right out front. Well, let's get to it. Officials in Maine provide an update about politics. So that was the shot about the politics. This right here was 30 minutes ago, right out by Robert Card's
Yeah, just about,
house.
I would say 20 minutes ago, I came down.
Again, what you're looking at right here was about 30 to 20 minutes ago, right by Robert Card's brother's house.
Manhunt continues.
Yeah, just about, I would say 20 minutes ago, I came down this way through Bowdoin, and that's where I got stopped by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. They told me, whoa, 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 stop it right there, turn around, you can't go any further. That's when I knew something was up. I got out of my car and I started just sort of watching them, observing, and that's when all of a sudden I heard on the loudspeaker, FBI, open the door, FBI, open the door. It was happening repeatedly, one after another. I would say that sort of command echoed out for a good 3 to 5 minutes.
I got you.
Then all of a sudden, the loudspeaker stopped. We didn't hear anything anymore. I started to wonder what was actually happening. And then when I was live with Connell McShane, just about 10.
Hold on 1 second. I do have our scanner on. I got the live scanner on. If you're just coming in, live scanner for updates. Local Maine news station pulled up for live updates. Anything that I see. Now, as far as the scanner, let me see. Did we miss anything during the presser? This is when the presser started, right?
44 13, I guess, off of them. All set.
All right.
1 second. Let's hear it.
236 Augusta, off and home.
442, Augusta, 10-8. 4134, Augusta, zone 2.
Copy 4134, zone 2.
Augusta 222.
I see, Augusta, we're on task for
Copy that.
4134, Augusta, zone 2. 1303, Augusta, you can show me clear Lewiston.
2125, Augusta, you can show me 10-8 to Lewiston.
Copy 2125, 10-8 to Lewiston.
831, Augusta, we leave in your zone.
Alright.
So let me guess you're on zone. So I'm back on zone. 2132, Augusta, clear Lewiston.
Copy 2132, clear Lewiston.
By the way, this is from Zone 1 Primary, which has been the dispatch that I've been hearing updates from, and Zone 2 also.
802, Augusta. I'll be off at home. Would you put me back on the schedule as OD for K Section 2? 2121, Augusta.
2121, go ahead.
No.
I'm going to be out at the Dollar General in Lisbon, following up a complaint with Lisbon officers.
Copy that. Do you need a card started?
Negative.
Okay. Copy 2121, clear.
2137, I can clear the CP.
Copy 2131.
2025, I guess, off home.
Copy 2025.
All right, there we go. This is where we were.
Anything anymore. I started to wonder what was actually happening. And then when I was live with Connell McShane just about 10 minutes ago, that's when we started to hear very, very loud explosions happening about a quarter of a mile down this road. We don't know exactly what those explosions were. I don't have any visuals. I can't tell you specifically from what I'm witnessing. I can only really tell you from what I'm hearing and from what I'm seeing around me. For example, we see these police officers that are right here standing, looking out into the distance. The noises that we're hearing are actually about a quarter of a mile that way. And so you can see that they're actually looking out over this plane, most likely securing the perimeter, making sure that they have visual contact about everything that's actually happening within this general area. We see helicopters and aircraft actually swooping overhead. And if I actually just walk a little bit that way, I can see some more vehicles that are actually up that road from the distance where those noises were coming from, those explosions, I should say. They were very, very loud. Again, we don't know where exactly that is or who is exactly back there. I just did speak to a neighbor who told me that he believes that this is the home of the brother of the suspect, Robert Card. He tells me that it's actually been an abandoned home for quite some time. We are awaiting official confirmation of that, but that is what one of the neighbors here just told us on News Nation. So we are going to try to dig into those claims a little bit.
And this update that you're looking at right here was 30 minutes ago from outside of the home to be Robert Card's brother. So there was booms and bangs and FBI opened the door and you can hear it they captured it on camera here. If you have Twitter, you can go check it out. It's on News Nation. So you had that, and that's what he's speaking about up here.
Bit more, but if so, that would make sense. If it was an abandoned home that belonged to the family, then perhaps that is the place where the suspect, Robert Card, has been hiding out all this time.
You know, Alex, it stood out to me that you said you are a quarter mile away. You know this. I know this. Normally, when you roll up as a reporter to a scene, maybe you can get a block or two away. But in this case, if you're talking about a couple thousand feet, it goes to show that law enforcement is not playing around right now. This man is considered armed and dangerous.
Yeah, and I would tell you all day long it's been that way. You really can't drive around Maine very easily, especially this part right now, because you're coming across so many police barricades where they are just stopping traffic because they're conducting such a widespread manhunt. That's what they've been doing since 7 p.m. last night. And so really, police are very fluid in their movements. They're kind of going to certain locations, then leaving, going somewhere else. And so as a reporter, you're just trying to chase the story, chase the scene, find out where this manhunt is going. And that's just what happened right here, right place, right time, finding this location at the exact moment we hear that FBI command calling out. Again, we don't know if anyone is inside that home. We don't know. It could have just been a command to an empty home, but we are trying to find that information out. Hopefully we get some of those answers tonight at 6 p.m. where they tell us that they have more information from a press conference.
Alex Capriello live on the ground in Bowdoin, Maine. Alex, if you hear anything, you see anything, let us know.
Yeah, so we have that was that latest update.
21, 22, I guess at 10-7.
That was the latest update on that.
Drink.
Let me go ahead and grab us this update too. That was lame. I cannot believe we just seen that. Really, I can't believe it. I can't. It was like a politician meeting. Like what? I just didn't understand it.
That's
What did I just miss right there? What did I just miss?
Saw, witnessed last night. We are hearing from Brandon Mullen, who was at Spare Time last night bowling with friends when the gunman burst in and started shooting. He just spoke with our News Center Maine's Vivian Lee about what he saw and heard, how he survived, and how several of his friends did not.
I heard something.
Oh wow, he's gonna speak about it.
And it was like gun thing, shots. I thought it's a taper broke, but I heard a shot and I dropped. First thing I said, oh, I had to drop my bowling ball, and I told everyone to leave. I opened the door, I told them everyone to leave, and I ran in the woods and with a bunch of people that I know. And I went to Marco's restaurants. They opened the door for us and we got in, and they said, just go on the back because I don't want you guys to get shot or by the windows. They want to stay out of the windows. I lost like 3 or 4 friends.
Were these guys that you hang out with a lot, Brandon?
Yes, from like bowling
man.
leagues. And
This is a
just friends that I know, and now I don't have them.
That's the raw reality that these folks are facing.
Yeah, there's going to be just
super
endless,
bad.
unfathomable loss and pain that people are going to be dealing with.
Thank you. I gotta know.
Days, weeks, months, years to come.
We catch up to you guys.
As we all come to grips with this. And because the shootings happen in a bar and in a bowling alley, these are places where you probably know the people who are there.
That you want to take your kids to and
there's a
spend
good
time
chance
with.
that you're there hanging out with your friends and your family. There's a good chance that even if you're not there with friends, you say, hey, I know those people, I know those folks. Or even if you don't know.
Man, that dude was bro. You can tell he's seen some stuff. So 18 people dead is what the number is.
Shootings that have happened in, say, supermarkets or malls or movie theaters or something like that. But these are places where folks knew each other.
It's interesting that you bring this up, Rob, because earlier today I was speaking with Kristen Cloutier. She's the House Representative, Maine State House Representative for Lewiston. She's a Lewiston native. And she described these places to me as
bad as hell.
Places where, I mean, we know this, right? It sounds so vague, right? They're community places. Maybe not community.
Again, if you're just coming in, we have Flight Radar on. We got the local Maine news station pulled up.
Yeah.
I have those scanners, the live scanners pulled up. I am looking at Flight Radar right now. I absolutely don't see nothing over there. I see no air patrol whatsoever in the area. I don't know what's going on. If there's any information that they found out, but there's definitely nothing in the sky.
Just 2613.
Of emotionally.
Nothing in the sky
everything
right
all at
now.
once, but also feeling nothing at the same time. This combination of overwhelm and also numb is not something that I think I can understand. Let's hear how she describes it.
It's just, it's really hard to think about taking your family out, to like have a time together and to feel like, you have to be scared to do that. we're living in a time where it feels like we're living in fear. And so that,
Yeah, that's what I don't
again, having
understand, Rob.
my own teenage child really.
So again, latest update. If you come in, they had like some house surrounded, but nothing it came from it that I know of. This was reported
22 Augusta 10-7.
40 minutes ago by News Nation. There's a reporter out there on the ground. We did watch those couple videos that were coming in. They're still there.
A short drive from where she had to shelter in place, and that at a certain point she made the decision to just go home and be with her family. And when you talk to a policymaker, as we've seen this play out many times across the country, a lot of people want to start to talk about, well, what could we have done to prevent this?
A 24-hour mark since 7 people were killed last night, and we were in Kennedy Square, Kennedy Park, excuse me, in the downtown Lewiston, across from City Hall, and a woman came up to us. She had a big box, and she was saying that this group is handing out free meals to first responders and offered to give us some, just because we've been working in the city all day. So just one of the many glimmers of hope and community coming together. And that is what we've been hearing from community members all day. It's picking each other up.
Scanner's definitely pretty quiet.
And I want to transition to how this is affecting kids. So guys, if you can post that statement whenever you get a second. Just a few minutes ago, we got this statement from Natalie Bowden. She is the high school girls basketball captain here at Lewiston Maine. And she said, "Today is a very, very sad day. My thoughts and prayers are with my home city of Lewiston right now. While we don't have all the answers about this tragedy, there is one thing I do know. I am confident that our city, our community, and people across our great state of Maine will come together to support one another. We are one with the hashtag Lewiston Strong." This is an 18-year-old, and we are seeing this rallying cry to come together from Mainers young and old, but that's not going to take the pain away from this community. We spoke to a mother, Melissa Holmes. Again, we've shared this information a couple of times now, who was in this area with her own kids, and you could see the pain in her eyes. She grew up in this community. But another thing that Chris, Sammy, and Rob were just talking about how to talk to your kids about this. Melissa was telling us that her sons in middle school were getting Snapchat notifications and Instagram messages, friends just really spewing anything they may have seen or heard or thought of. So I think what Melissa told us was her advice to parents in the Lewiston community and throughout Maine is to be honest with your kids. Try to find that common ground to have these meaningful conversations, because this is a hard thing for these kids to have to deal with and to grow up with saying, yes, I'm from Lewiston, Maine, where one of the worst mass shootings in U.S. history happened. Unfortunately, that's a fact. And it's going to be up to the young generation with the help of their parents and community leaders to get through it together. And on that point, we've been talking with some advocates for the unhoused and Mainers in need in Lewiston. And a good point they made, Chris, you brought up the Lewiston schools probably not going to be back in session tomorrow. I believe that's what you said, not in school today. That also impacts students in need of free meals. We were at the Trinity Jubilee Center, which gives out free meals to unhoused Mainers a couple times a week. Today, because of that need, they said that unhoused community was terrified last night. In a shelter-in-place order, how can you shelter in place if you don't have a home? So they took in about 60 to 70 folks, gave them the free meals, had that day shelter open. A lot of sadness, a lot of anger, but also that glimmer of hope. And I don't know if that's too soon to be talking about as we still wait for more information, but that's what some of the youngest leaders in this community are looking forward to.
I don't doubt that. Sam Rogers in Lewiston for us. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's kind of something that we've been seeing a lot, especially on social media, is just people kind of reaching out and saying, I'm here for you. I'm here to listen. I'm here to give you a meal, as Sam was saying. I'm here to give you a place to stay. Because as we've talked about together, that's what we do here in Maine after a tragedy.
And social media has become the town square. In
This
effect.
doesn't
This
make
is where
no
people are
sense.
going to go to share their grief, to talk about the friends and the family members whom they lost. And a lot of it is being posted. As you know, all you have to do is look at your phone and you see that the families themselves are being the first to reveal who the names, what the names of the victims are.
Yes, but we still, as we've mentioned, we still don't have the names of the victims.
Some of them were just getting in as those words came out of your mouth. We got new information here confirmed about some names of some victims. And Rob, I defer to you on this.
Here, let's go ahead and jump into this. I do want to check this out. I want to see these
To learn more. 4134, Augusta Zone 3.
5 names have been released, and I believe that we're seeing some more images now of the victims. We're looking at one here, and if I can ask our colleagues in the control room.
This is Joseph Walker.
This is Joseph Walker.
He was the manager at Schmenge's Bar and Grill. We had mentioned earlier that many of the people who were there or many of the people who fell victim were also employees. And so Joseph Walker, manager at Schmenge's Bar and Grill. We also know that Trisha Aslan, who worked there, has been confirmed as a number
Make sure you guys hit that
one
like
of
button as you're coming
the
in.
dead people. And this is the newest image that we're getting of just one of the victims. We also are hearing from a number of family members of the victims, and we talked to his father this morning, and we want
Everybody prayers in the chat for victims. Come on now. Lewiston strong. I do have some Rev Gang family members that are in Lewiston, that live in Lewiston, that are 5 minutes from this location. Put prayers out there. Prayers in the chat.
to take a listen to that.
When you get anything that happens like this, you go empty. And there's just nothing you can do. Your gut goes like a monster inside of you, and because your head feels like it's gonna blow off.
And his father serves on the Auburn City Council. So this has touched so many lives, and we're going to continue to hear more stories like this as more individuals are identified as we learn more about these victims here.
Yeah.
But you're looking there at photos of Mr. Walker, who
is one of the confirmed dead. You know, Terry and I think if I'm not mistaken, when we spoke to his father, Joseph, who you're looking at on the screen, had yet to be accounted for. So he, I don't believe, was aware of what had happened to his son at that point, if I'm not mistaken.
And as I understand it, last night was what's called Industry Night, where they offer a discount for people who work in the food service industry. There's a sense of community there at both of these locations. These are people who work hard in the hospitality industry to provide us a bite to eat when we're going out with our families. And on a Wednesday night, on a weeknight, offered a discount, go grab a bite.
Virgo
Joseph
fan.
Walker there, serving patrons.
No chopper.
He's killed. And we're just so sorry for his loss.
No
We
chopper.
are looking at some of the other victims' names here too. Joseph, who we just showed that picture of. Bob Violet was a bowler.
So here we go. We have some names here. So we have Joseph Walker, the manager at that restaurant. We have Bob Violet. Was it Bob Violet? Bowler at Just in Time. Say Trisha. Employee Just in Time. Stephen, gathering of deaf people at. Oh wow, gathering of deaf. Whoa.
Trisha Aslan, who was an employee. Stephen Vazella was one of the members of the deaf community that were bowling there. gathered there, or rather at Schmenge's, and Bill Brackett gathering there also, one of the members of the deaf community. And these are so far the confirmed names that we have. We do know these are not the only victims, but these are the only ones that we have confirmed names at this point. We're also learning a little bit more about them in terms of their background. Trisha, her family was there with her, at least her sister. Trisha was there, not in a work capacity either. She was there bowling, because you mentioned that employee food service discount. I'm sure she was probably with family trying to have a nice evening. And, we are just so sorry of this tragic development.
And Megan, forgive me here. I think that you have some information which I haven't reviewed yet, but she was credited with alerting authorities, right? That she called 911 and was in harm's way trying to protect others.
Yes, that's right. I'll pull it up here, if you just give me a second. One of the pieces of information was that when it all started happening, this is according to her brother who reported this to CNN. So CNN spoke with her brother, that when all of this started happening, she ran up to the counter and started to call 911. And that's when she was shot. So, one can only infer that was, her last act. Was trying to get authorities on the phone to help and to help all the people inside of that establishment.
Sacrifice.
Wow. I'm just mind blown by that. Her last act was trying to call 911 to save others.
Yes, I do have an update for you. We're still on the front lawn of Lisbon High School here, and all morning and afternoon, we have been telling you that there has been very limited traffic access to Lisbon Street and the intersections here. Well, as you can see behind me, just within the last 10 minutes, Lisbon police officers and firefighters came and immediately moved the roadblocks here to open up Lisbon Street and the intersection here to whatever traffic needs to go through. I caught up with the chief and asked them what was going on. He told me that they had searched the areas, at least here, that they wanted to. He told us to expect an update from the Department of Public Safety at some point. Now, we had already heard from Department spokesperson Shannon Moss that there would likely, barring any big development, not be press availability. But the words that the chief said was to expect at least an update from the Department of Public Safety in the near future. But, big but, he said this is still an active search overall. So here in this immediate area in Lisbon and Lisbon Falls, traffic is back open and flowing. And so these residents here are not dealing with, at least for the time being, closed down roads, police standing in the middle of the road with rifles stopping traffic. So that fear has lifted here, but this is still an active search overall. And that is the latest developments here in the Lisbon area.
All right, David Guilford, live there in Lisbon. And like you said, Brian, it is comforting to see that main stretch back open, Lisbon Street there.
Look, right now, we've been on the air with you for so long at this point that I think we are all just glad to see any little step toward, dare I say, normalcy. So, just the fact that roadblock has been reopened is at least an encouraging sign. But again, that only happened in the last 40 minutes, or 20 minutes, I should say. It was around 3:40. So that's progress there. But we continue to have this situation where we are seeing police move from place to place. And even from there, David was telling us that someone had stopped by and told officers, hey, I think I saw something. And then a group of armed officers kind of sped off from there. And that's basically what this day has been, of a lot of going after those notices.
Where the hell is he?
We, of course, have a team of reporters working. I believe Caroline LaCour is joining us.
And before we go to Caroline, who's clearly still...
1842, your cell phone.
And he was, the case put him forward for evaluation. You got it wrong.
No.
442,
No,
Sitting
nobody
at
was.
Sandy Hook Elementary School.
442.
I spoke with Chancellor Malloy this afternoon. He says
I'm back in
whether
the
it's
car. They're on
Colorado,
their way. You show me
Connecticut,
today.
Florida, Maine, or New York, this kind of event is becoming more and more common. In the Sandy Hook shooting, more than 24 people were killed at the school, and most of them were children. Malloy says after that event, he watched a lot of people in Connecticut fall into depression and grief. It's why he says he thinks it's important for us to talk openly to our family and friends right now about how we're feeling. As for the
Yeah, I
UMaine
was there,
campuses,
Linda.
Malloy says he's
I
letting
was
each
there
of his
earlier.
universities
I heard him
make
say
the
that.
call as to whether they offer classes or cancel events over the next couple of days. And above all, Malloy says there's really one piece of advice he would offer learners.
So we were just talking about a male running down the
Can you try, General?
Let's check that because that's off zone 2 primary.
I'm back in the car. They're on their way. You show me today.
1 second.
I guess 414. Go ahead.
414, 135 southbound. I'm about passing a male running down the side of the road on the breakdown.
10-4. Can you try, General?
Male running down the road.
10-4. I guess any unit in the area, mile marker 135 southbound.
2205, we just saw it all.
What additional damage we would do.
Can you check with Fairfield PD?
Copy 22
And Malloy says
Alpha.
that all UMaine campuses will be back to normal. Back to you guys.
Chloe Tebow, our thanks to you in the studio. And again, something
That's
where
at
we are leaning
8:15.
on others who have been down this path before, very sadly, and now we are walking down it for the first time here in Maine. We suspect today, these are the images released last night, almost 24 hours ago now, from police. They say this is him on the scene of those shootings
That's
last
the
night.
same
where
thing.
18
Be
people
careful.
lost their lives.
A lot of our colleagues from NBC News are here
745, we got
in
48.
Maine. We've seen a lot of them, along with our crews in Lewiston. Here's a look at the victims that we know that are confirmed. And NBC Nightly News is about to join us live here soon, and they will have much
In the
more
area of 36
information
South,
on
taking a
the
report
people
of a
in this
TT unit with a
community
flatbed without
affected
its
by
lights on.
this.
We, of course, will be back
Caller
with you right
believes
here
it's got
at
Rooms
7 o'clock.
Transport
We will
LLC
turn
written
it
on
over
the
to
side.
NBC
It's
Nightly
traveling
News, where
over
Lester
80
Holt
miles an
is
hour. Again, it does not have its lights on. 10-3.
Get in touch, man. I'm coming up to 38 now.
No, you hear that again.
36 South, taking a report of a TT unit with a flatbed without its lights on. Caller believes it's got Rooms Transport LLC written on the side. It's traveling over 80 miles an hour. Again, it does not have its lights on. 10-3.
Get in touch, man. I'm coming up to 38 now. I'll try to check.
No light.
I got 25 if I can set up for it as well.
This year.
Copy that.
The chilling images of a gunman.
1303,
Police say
go
he
slow.
entered a bowling alley and opened fire,
745,
killing
copy.
7. Then minutes later at a bar, killing 8 more. 3 others dying at the hospital. His vehicle found at a boat launch, and
3
just then,
dying at the
gun
hospital.
discovered inside. The moments of terror.
Lester Holt.
Father of one victim telling me he died a hero.
He picked up a butcher knife and he tried to go at the gunman to stop him from shooting anybody else.
Also, the note found at the
What?
suspect's home and what we're learning about him, a longtime Army reservist, his struggles with mental health and what his family told us about him hearing voices. Our full team coverage. Also tonight, Israeli forces carrying out a targeted ground raid in Gaza. Armored bulldozers breaking through, a column of tanks rolling in. Our team inside Gaza witnessing an Israeli airstrike. Children rescued from the rubble. The deadly toll from Hurricane Otis, at least 27 killed after the
Whoa.
monster storm slammed Acapulco. Our report from the storm zone. And the strike breakthrough. The UAW reaching a tentative deal with one of the big 3 automakers. Where does that leave the other 2?
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester.
You like with Fairfield?
Good evening, everyone. The
New
state
England
of
with them now.
Maine is in a state of shock and fear tonight. Streets are virtually empty as residents shelter in place 24 hours after authorities say a U.S. Army reservist walked into a bowling alley and then in a bar just over my shoulder and shot and killed 18
414,
people,
they're giving out.
wounding 13 more. Tonight, a massive search is underway for 40-year-old Robert
Thank
Carr.
you.
Police say he is armed and dangerous and should not be approached. And authorities say Carr had spent 2 weeks in a mental health facility.
All right, it's a wrap. They ended. Good. All right. Just making sure. So it's a wrap. They're done. See any updates on here? I was like, wondering what the hell is going on. Lester Holt in the building. What are we doing, Lester? 23-minute Central Maine Healthcare CEO Steve Littleston gives an update on the victims.
On behalf of the 3,000 professionals and team members of Central Maine Healthcare, I too would like to extend our deepest condolences to the families of the victims of the events of last night. I would also like to acknowledge the compassion and the expertise and the teamwork displayed by the healthcare professionals in this community last night when called upon under the most extreme circumstances. Just to give you the numbers as we have them now, I know there's been some confusion. I would like to take the opportunity to just let you know what we dealt with and what we have currently in our hospital. All but one of the patients that were taken from the scenes last night were brought to Central Maine Medical Center. One was transported directly to St. Mary's Medical Center here in Lewiston. Of those patients, 2 were treated and discharged. 1 of those patients was transferred from Central Maine Medical Center to Maine Medical Center in Portland. 3 patients, unfortunately, passed away in Central Maine Medical Center last night. Of those, 8 remain now, and we have 5 patients who are in stable condition, 3 who are in critical condition in the critical care unit. Just to give you a sense of the scope of what we dealt with within a relatively short period of time, last night, within about 45 minutes to an hour, we had 6 fully staffed and running operating rooms at Central Maine Medical Center caring for the wounded and the victims. The professionals that were operating simultaneously in those 6 operating rooms included orthopedic surgeons,
I didn't see this.
surgeons, urologists, vascular surgeons, as well as anesthesiologists and support personnel. I would like to also express our appreciation for all of the support that we received and continue to receive even through today. First from the city of Lewiston. Secondly, from law enforcement. We still have a law enforcement presence on the campus at Central Maine Medical Center. The other.
So the 3, so the so the 3 of them died at the hospital. That's so sad.
Area hospitals that came to our support. We needed blood transferred to Central Maine Medical Center very quickly, and 2 of the hospitals, Maine General and St. Mary's, accommodated us. Maine Med in Portland stood by and was ready to accept patients, and as you know, they did accept.
4-3, guess is on 2.
Copy 4-3,
and also the various community partners that came to aid and support us last night, including emergency response personnel from Life Flight of Maine, and others.
They should have let
4-3, guess is on 2.
We will come together. It says community will come together after former Newtown police. Former Newtown police. Their mountain lion tries to attack, huh? That's crazy. So Maine speaks on 2 Wednesday night shootings in Lewiston, which left 18 people dead and others injured. She says 80 FBI agents and other agencies are participating in the search for the suspect. We've seen that. We were just watching this.
$733, like 10-8.
And not much going on since that last update.
7-4,
24, thank you.
Loud bangs and a loudspeaker. Yeah, this was almost 2 hours ago. So, I mean, you had all this going on. Nothing must have came from it because there's nothing coming out about it. Not only that, it's pretty weird that the media is dying down on it, I feel like, too. Let's check. I'll tell you right now.
2 minutes.
That's the live look at it. That was a live look at it. There ain't really much going on. They were trying to get in there, seriously.
FBI
Dude is going fishing, searching empty properties. So if you're just coming in, I see nothing in the air. I got flight radar up, so there's nothing in the air. There's nothing barely coming through scanner about anything to do with this.
233 West Lieutenant. 403 guesses on 2 o'clock.
I haven't heard much not much. I haven't heard not one single thing comes through about this dude, Robert Card, the whole day so far that I've been listening to the scanner. Not one thing. So this is crazy. It's just weird. It just stops. It seemed like media is just not really, they're like done with it for right now or something. I don't know. Either they're traveling.
745, I guess.
Going on.
25.
Copy 745. 815, you copy?
We'll find out though. I don't.
Yeah, I've been spending at 25 this entire time. It's not here.
Cancel.
You said ABC News Online. They found a note in his home. You said they found a note at his home. Gun found in car. They are testing the gun to see if it was the same gun used. Tara says, I've been seeing someone write shit like that all day. Where was that at? I heard a report a few minutes ago. Shots fired. One of the real ones. I didn't hear it. Radio silence. Weird. Radio silence. Weird. Hey, listen.
Old man who's accused of killing 18 people and injuring at least 13 others. And as of right now, he is still on the run, a major law enforcement presence as they try to locate this very dangerous and armed individual. They tell people if you ever see this man, not to approach him. He is considered armed and dangerous. Let's show you again his mugshot here, as you can see, or I should say a photo of him, not a mugshot, but a photo of this individual that continues to be on the run right now. Police still looking for him, and we know that he is dangerous. He is a trained armed
I think, Matt, he's not, right? A firearm?
We're learning more about his background, we should say here. We apologize as we get situated here, just transitioning on the desk from one anchor to another, but we're also getting live images here as we always do, this one out of Lewiston, and we're going to continue to be speaking with reporters that are there. Our next report coming up here in the next 20 minutes or so, but much more coverage to come on this. We're also learning more about the events leading up to the series of mass shootings with this. Fox's Rebecca Castor
Probably in
brings
Canada.
us an update from Maine.
A massive manhunt is underway for the suspect in the deadliest mass shooting.
Yeah, there ain't nothing going on right now. I bet they lost him. They know we were listening to Scanner. Oh, yeah, there's thousands listening to this Scanner. 5,000? No, way more. Whoa. Try doubling or quadrupling.
Yes, the 120.
Yeah, no flight radar either, but maybe. Where are you going, buddy? Let's follow you. Oh, you're going the opposite way. So this, I'm following this one. It's being tracked #2 worldwide, I see. But that's emergency. That's an emergency helicopter. So
One.
Go ahead.
Mm-mm-mm.
120. Have a residential alarm, Parsons Field. 150 road between the palms.
Still.
Showing you just garage motion. Negative contact. Keel.
10-4.
724 guess to 10-8.
Seven 44.
Nor did he.
724 Pike 10-8 44.
No.
So the Army did not. Okay, so he wasn't. Is that Brian Hoffman, star of the Doggo? Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I've seen him over there. Yep. He knew he couldn't take the gun through the border. Little itty bitty pieces of this. I bet you're right, Blondie.
701 plate 107.
Lewiston Maine. So they spoke out. He spoke out. Witness describes. Oh, I'd love. Let's hear what she's.
716 plate 107.
Let me hear how. So witness that was there.
My stomping grounds. I've lived here since 2012, and I've never. I mean, this is my stomping grounds. I've been stomping these grounds since I was 19 years old, and I'm just overwhelmed. I've been here trying to spread, some kind of comfort, some kind of support. But this is an overwhelming situation. I don't think we've ever had anything like this, except that guy that died in Kennedy Park that got beat up. But that's been a while. And I'll tell you, my insides are just really sick over this. I've heard people that down there by the doors that have family members in there. There was a girl down there with 5 people, all got shot up. And they're like frantic. What are you going to do? And I can just feel the vibes from other people. So yeah, this is not good.
And you said you have family and you've been able to contact them?
My family knows all about it. Thank God my son has technology where he has a smartphone. So he's got the scanner and he's following it all. So I've had all my friends on the phone with me to make sure they're safe. Until I told them, lock your doors, lock your windows, because you don't know what this person's capable of.
You're damn right.
And there is a shelter in place, but you said
Thank you,
you're here
Jersey
in the
Jim Bob.
hospital just to pray for these people.
Yep, I'm doing a lot of praying. God's on overtime, because I have a funny feeling there's going to be a lot of people that might not survive, from what I've heard. So,
have you talked to some of the families down there?
yeah, a little bit. Like I said, there's one girl down there. There's 5 people. She just whipped out 5 names of people that they, and they brought in somebody in a vehicle that was shot right from the pickup. Took him right in the hospital.
Mm-mm-mm. You can't even hear you. That muted. Pretty silent scene.
To Central Maine Medical
Pretty
Hospital
silent scene right
in
now.
Lewiston for treatment, and an additional 13 people were injured in the shootings. Names of the victims still
That dude
aren't
needs a new
available.
wig.
Police are continuing to identify them and also contact family members during this very difficult time.
2132,
Currently, there
yes,
are over 350 law enforcement personnel that are involved in the search
Copy
efforts for
2132
Card,
officer.
comprised of officers from all over
Go
the
ahead,
state,
four.
national agencies
Just
as
star of the
well. And they go
dog.
on to say if anyone has any information about Robert Card. Again, let's pull up his photo for you. Armed.
Said
and
I could only hear
dangerous,
you.
someone that they want you to call this number before
I
doing
couldn't hear.
anything else. And that number is 207-213-9526 or 207-509-9002. So a lot of information, still trying
Yeah.
to kind of
No, a
unpack
woman.
this timeline, but that is the most recent update that we're getting from Maine State Police of how things transpired yesterday. Again, about 24 hours or so again now from when this all began, and it still continues now as this individual remains on the run. Now, we've heard a lot about the different agencies that are assisting with this. That also includes in New York. There's a lot of fear that he could make his way to New York, to other states, and we're hearing from NYPD what they're doing to prepare for any possible
way
sightings
different. It's a
of
bigger
Card
dude.
as well. Let's play out what police had to say as they held a public safety briefing.
This is a mass shooting, not an escaped prisoner.
Our hearts go out absolutely to everyone who was affected by the incident in Maine last night. And we will give you a brief update on what we as NYPD have been doing in coordination with our partners. But just to underline, this is not an NYPD investigation. It's an investigation that's being led by federal, state, and local partners up in Maine, with
Either
whom
got
we've
6 and 7.
been in continuous and extensive contact since the incident occurred, starting just before 7 p.m. yesterday evening.
Everything is pretty dead right now.
Interest, who's been identified as
2612 Augusta. You can attach me to that alarm in
entered
Parsons.
2 locations, a restaurant, bar,
Okay.
and a bowling alley, and opened fire on all of the innocent people who are inside the location. And like we've seen way too many times, the results were devastating. Our thoughts and prayers remain with the folks of Lewiston. The individual persons of interest photo was made available yesterday evening. He is currently not in police custody. The hunt is ongoing and very dynamic. We are quite confident at this point that this horrific crime has no nexus to New York City.
That's what
We
I
can't
think.
speculate, obviously, as to any motivation.
I mean, that was played before. But anyways, I do think that he is taking his life somewhere. I don't know. It just feels that way. It feels like he taking his life somewhere. But you could be wrong. So they have to search until they find something. There's no helicopter out. I got flight radar pulled up. I have the scanners pulled up. I got 2 different scanners pulled up right now. In the area of Lewiston, nothing is going there right now. I don't see anything heading there. The only thing I see in the area is a couple planes. That's about it. Nothing is in the Lewiston area. Nothing's searching by Lisbon. Or Lisbon. You got nothing in the sky helicopter wise besides N901EM, which has been flying out the way. So there's we got no sky patrol whatsoever. I'm not hearing much come through the scanners. I got like I said, the 2 scanners that are pulled up, there's not much coming in. There's so many different gaps, and then you hear 1 or 2 things and it stops for a while. So, and like a lot of people say, they're switching over to another channel. I know that. I believe he did too. I believe I believe he killed himself already. I said that this morning. I think he went somewhere. I don't whether it was on a boat or somewhere. He went somewhere. I feel like he did unalive himself, like a coward would.
204, go ahead.
So, yeah, no, this is just, I don't know.
Can you give Pike Maintenance a call and let them know southbound prior to 86 departure ramp? There's some pieces of cardboard that need to be removed.
Yes.
I heard about the same thing. I heard about the same exact thing. And what about this Jersey shooter?
Late night, I was the executive staff of the police department in City Hall, planning a strategy as to what we could do to mitigate any chances of this individual coming down to New York City. The first thing, we activated our JOC, which is right behind you, to make sure they're in touch with all city agencies, Amtrak, Port Authority, MTA. We put out what we call critical messages to every cop, every uniformed person in the city, with the literature we had about picture and the Subaru he was driving. We had an alert on that car. LPR cars were deployed in every city crossing into the city last night, and it continues this morning. Even though that car has been recovered, we're still standing with that.
Okay, I get it. All right, you're way past that. Like, we're way past that. There's no information. There's no new news coming out on this whole situation. There's no media out there. It's really stagnant right now. So I don't know what's going on out there, but seems like nothing. Seems like nothing. Do we know if he is schizophrenic, it was reported he was hearing voices. I also feel bad for his family. I'm sure they're devastated as well, especially if they were trying to get him help. There's no telling. HIPAA laws. You'll hear all the rumors in the world, but they won't be talking about it like that. All I know is before, all we heard was
FBI, open up!
let me see here.
They hit different.
I think he unalive himself. What now though? New York City, the suspect car. What? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what they were talking about there. They're just saying they put the word out on it. That's all.
10 for Echo.
That's all they're saying. It's unsettling. It's this quiet. It's a huge case. Yeah, it's super quiet. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You see, you're effing me up with that FBI voice. Really?
Call Dago. Call Dago.
Let me get that. We need JLR, then we would get information, right? Yeah, people, anyone in the area. But in general, right now, it just seems like the area is, because if they went to his brother's house and their FBI opened up, there was either a situation, but if there was a situation that
23 goes to 10-7.
I do feel like if there was some type of situation, the word would have got out by now. Right? I mean, and this was what, an hour ago that we had this live situation here. Let's go back to it again. It's now almost 2 hours ago. It says an hour here. We had this situation there. I don't think nothing ever came of this situation. Nothing yet. Oh, so he's not there yet? Nope.
4226 off.
Let's see. He will be there tomorrow. Now FBI returns to shooting suspects home. I want to walk around my block to see if I can find him. I'm going to walk around my block and see if I find him. What? Sounds like some trolley shit. Slayers. That's a fact. I don't know. I'm about to take a break, go eat some dinner, and if it heats up, I'm coming back. So I'll catch you guys here shortly. I appreciate everybody who came by. Prayers for Maine in the chat. Everybody drop prayers for Maine in the chat. I'm about to go get me some dinner, and I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this. I love you guys, and I'll see you here shortly.